Georgia defeats Georgia Tech 31-23, but honestly, there's a lot of unhappiness to go around. I'm joined by our Georgia beat writer, Chip Towers, our Georgia Tech beat writer, Chad Bishop. Chad, I'm going to start with you. Georgia Tech competes in this game, and it's close late in the fourth quarter. You would not have thought that going into this game, but ultimately not able to pull out the win. This program's still bowl eligible, though. What are the emotions like for Georgia Tech after this loss?
I think they feel like they let one get away, honestly. A lot of missed opportunities for that Tech team. I mean, yeah, they're 24-point underdogs, but I think this program is sort of past that moral victory stage under Brent Key. I mean, he's a fiery guy. He's a competitor. This is his alma mater. He wants to beat Georgia, and they miss a field goal. They don't go for it on 4th and 1 inside the 10-yard line in the first quarter and kick a field goal. Just too many missed opportunities. Even getting the interception late in this game, taking it down, and you score a touchdown, but not enough time left on the clock and can't get the onside kick. So I think the game was there for the taking. I think they felt they did enough to win this game, but just shot themselves in the foot one too many times.
Chip, 205 rushing yards given up by Georgia. Haynes King had a great night for Georgia Tech. Georgia's about to face a mobile quarterback in Jalen Milroe in the SEC championship, and you just kind of got gashed on the ground.
Yeah.
If you're Georgia, what are you thinking?
Well, if you're Alabama, you're sitting there licking your chops a little bit, I think, but it was funny, you talk about that. Normally we talk about that, you and I would have been in the victorious locker room, but it didn't feel that way. I mean, it was kind of forlorn in there. I mean, they were saying all the right things. Kirby said something along the lines of, well, all I wanted was for us to leave with a 0 in the loss column. And that is incredible. I mean, Georgia won for the 29th straight time, right, Chad? I mean, it's just unbelievable, the streak that Georgia's on. But it didn't feel that way in the locker room. There was a lot of complaints about what they did wrong and what they need to do right next week and that kind of thing. But the Alabama and what they do on offense sets up perfectly, and maybe for that reason, playing these guys and getting played the way you did can be helpful in some way getting ready for the next game.
Chad, for Georgia Tech to have this much success on the ground against Georgia, in general against Georgia, how much of an encouraging sign is that for this Yellow Jackets program under Key?
It's huge. They've actually become more of a better rushing team than a passing team. A lot of people think this Georgia Tech offense is throw it all over the field, and they did that early in the season. But if you look at the stats, they're the top 15, top 20 nationally now rushing the ball. Only threw the ball 20 times against Syracuse a couple weeks ago, only threw it 29 times tonight against Georgia. They found a way to be effective on the ground. Again, Brent Key's a former offensive lineman, man. He's just up there like, heck yeah, this is what I wanted all along. And he's got a capable running back in Jamal Haynes. His quarterback, Haynes King, has become a dual-threat weapon. So I'm excited to see them in the bowl game, how they're able to continue to doing that. And then moving into 2024, how much of a rushing attack this Tech program actually becomes.
Chip, I think to be fair to Georgia, we do have to mention the injuries because there's a laundry list of them. You're missing Tate Ratledge, Ladd McConkey, Brock Bowers on offense. You're missing Jamon Dumas-Johnson in the middle of that defense.
Yeah. How
much did that factor into this game, or was it just this is a tough matchup for Georgia?
Well, I think it was a tough match. Look, first off, you got to tip your cap to Tech. I mean, what I was impressed with was just the way they were bringing it. I mean, they were fired up from the opening kickoff, playing hard, playing determined, extra yards, all that kind of stuff. So I thought that had a lot to do, kind of with the way things were going. But, yeah, Georgia was beat up. In fact, Kirby said right there at the end, he said, missing 5 starters on offense, and I'm sitting there scrambling going, who was the fifth? Who was the fifth? But, obviously Brock Bowers makes a little bit of difference when he's playing. And he said they weren't holding them out because of the SEC game. He said if they could have played, they would have played. But I saw Tate Ratledge walking back there to the locker room afterward, and I said, you going to be able to go next week? He says, I'm going to try. So supposedly he was really close. I think you're going to get a lot of these guys back next week. But bottom line, you got to play with, who you got. And, Tech was able to match him. I mean, this whole game, I understand why Tech is probably a little upset that they let one get away here, because that would have been a monumental upset.
Some encouraging stuff for Tech, some disappointing stuff for Georgia, but they're going to keep playing in the SEC championship. Tech is bowl eligible. So I'm going to end up talking to these guys again pretty soon. Both of y'all. Thanks to all of you for watching. Make sure you go to ajc.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel to find more videos just like this one.